fur on. We are ready to go. So I begin my sermon tonight with a story. This story comes to us from ancient Greece. After the Titan War, Zeus, victorious from battle, decided to take a wife. His first wife was named Themis, and Themis was the goddess of justice. Now, she may have been the only goddess of justice in the Greek pantheon, but she certainly wasn't the first goddess of justice. In Roman theology, there was Justitia, and in Egyptian theology, there was Maat, who's most notably known for greeting recently deceased mortals on an open plain with her scales. And she would rip out the hearts of mortals, and she would weigh them on her scales against one feather plucked from her head. And if your heart was equal or lighter to this feather, you got to step forward into the afterlife and live in bliss. However, if your heart was heavier than her feather, which seems a little shaming and a little judgmental, then you would immediately be eaten by a gigantic monster and you would spend all of eternity in duat. Which doesn't sound like a good time. Now, Themis was the personification of the idea of divine justice. And she and Zeus had many children, and one of the children that they gave birth to was named Dike. And Dike was the living embodiment of earthly justice. There suddenly became a separation between divine and earth justice, and Dike lived among the humans. And when she did, Greece experienced unparalleled peace and prosperity in the golden and silver ages of Greek civilization. But unfortunately, our story takes a little bit of a turn, because greed began to enter into the minds and hearts of mortals, and Dike, enraged by what she saw, fled into the sky, and it launched Greece into the Bronze Age, an age known for disease, war, and famine. That was the day that justice left this earthly coil. Now, this next part is a little debatable, even though we're all talking about mythology and it's really debatable, all of it. But this next part is a little debatable. Our modern representation of Lady Justice, a woman standing with a blindfold, holding a sword and scales, is actually inspired by Dike herself. With the blindfold meant to impart the idea of impartiality, that the law applies to everyone no matter who you are. She carries a sword because justice is swift and often final. And then she carries scales in her hands to reflect balance. That in a proceeding, what we are looking for is the argument that carries more weight. Now, the reason why I wanted to start with this story is because we often use words, phrases, and symbols without knowing their origin and without knowing their true meaning. And no one is more guilty of this than moi. And I often get into trouble because I speak very quickly, and I love my descriptor words, and I also love the rule of three, so I'll just rattle out 3 descriptors, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, I don't think that word means what you think it means. And then there's the split personality of I am sure I'm right, with that little bit of seed of doubt that goes, no, it's like, I mean, it's like basically the same thing. I mean, it's kind of, shut up. No one asked you. And this is true with justice. Now, to preface, I am not involved in the justice system. I'm not a judge, I'm not a lawyer. And so my reflections tonight are simply coming from my observations. You can feel free to disagree with me the entire time, and that is okay. Because my intention for tonight is to start a conversation about justice, because I think when we talk about justice, we're not actually talking about justice. My only experience with justice, very recently, is I got called for jury duty. Oh my Lanta. I had dreaded that day since I was eligible, and that little placard came in the mail, and I didn't want to go, and then first they tell me that this is my day, and then I get off of work, and then they cancel the day I'm supposed to come, and they're like, oh, just come next week, like I have nothing better to do with my life. So then I get that day off of work, and I go down and I sit in a room with a bunch of other people, and it's very uncomfortable, and we don't know what to do, and everyone's looking around like maybe somebody has been through this before, and then they shuffle you into another room, the courtroom, and then you get a judge, and our judge was very lovely. He was very nice, he was very funny, I appreciate it, and they start calling you. And everyone collectively is going, please don't pick me, 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 please don't pick me. And I realized, I had no idea how jury picking wins. Because I was like, oh my gosh, great! They picked all these numbers and none of them are me. Whoo! I am saved! And then people started getting dismissed. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Well, why are they leaving? Why are you calling another number? Why are you calling another number? And I made it, there was like 7 of us left, and I didn't get chosen. It's divine intervention right there. God clearly had a different plan for me. That was not jury duty. But while this was all happening, I kind of felt a little mad with myself. Because this is supposed to be one of the most profound and one of the most direct ways that we as citizens get to participate in the justice system. And I was actively wanting to get out of it, and so was everybody else. Now, that did not change my mind from skipping my way out of the courtroom, nor did I volunteer, but I had a moment of reflection and a moment of looking at my shadow side that I did not want to be in that courtroom. That is really my only experience with the justice system. So again, everything I'm about to share with you, you can feel free to disagree. You probably have a different experience, and that's great, because what we want is a fruitful dialogue. We want a fruitful discourse. I'm not right. I'm just here with a stage and a microphone with some ideas and some thoughts that I wanted to share with you all. And I hope that you come talk to me afterward and share your thoughts and ideas, even if it's you're completely wrong and stupid and I cannot believe that you just wasted our time for the next 15 minutes. So, in order to get on the same page, I think we first need to define the word justice.
I thought so.
A little overactive, Siri. Hey, welcome to the stage, Siri. Siri, would you please define justice? This is your moment, Siri. You're ruining this for me. Let's try this again. Oh, what can I help you with? No. What is the definition of justice?
Just behavior or treatment.
Thank you, take it long enough. No, I do not! I bet you Alexa would not have done this. So, Siri, in her infinite wisdom, defined justice as just behavior and or treatment. That is super helpful. Siri goes on to say that a justice might be a figure, like a judge in a courtroom. It also might mean fairness, that justice is equated with fairness. And when I heard this, after much arguments with Siri, when I heard this, I was immediately reminded of the children that I work with in the school system. So, I work for an organization called Sierra Arts Foundation, and I teach theater. And I have a bunch of first and second graders right now, and they are absolutely adorable. I see you. I see you. One of them's in the audience right now. This is great, you're gonna love this. So first and second graders have a very clear understanding of what is fair and just, especially as it relates to them, because they are the center of their own universe. And when I go into classrooms and I teach theater and I share different games and exercises, I'm always looking for volunteers. And so when I ask for volunteers, hands raise high into the air. But unfortunately, I can only take 3. And I take 3 brave souls on stage with me. And unfortunately, the rest do not get picked. And what unfolds is nothing short of sheer madness. Because what I hear is a cacophony